Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer-Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today.
We did it. I still can't believe we got this project done so fast and so well.
When I'm in New York.
I'm in Chicago.
And I'm in LA. But
we're making it happen in Miro.
Together.
Our best work just happens faster on Miro's collaborative online whiteboard. No more scheduling meeting after meeting for work that could happen
from anywhere. Whether it's getting design feedback here,
mapping timelines here,
or brainstorming next steps here. It all just happens on the Miro board.
Exactly. And it's nice not having to wait an entire day to get sign-off from this guy.
Hey! Well, it is true.
See how Miro users save up to 80 hours every year by meeting less and doing more. Get on board at Miro.com. The first 3 boards are free, forever. That's Miro.com.
Knocked Prone is a clean, chaotic, and deep podcast for D&D nerds. Find more ways to support our show in the episode description.
Last time on Knocked Prone.
We're okay. That's the important part.
I don't know if you guys actually understand what we're getting into.
I thought we were just doing a simple job.
We just killed some weirdos in the sewer. I don't think it's that much to be worried about, Princess.
This is no simple job, gentlemen. The Cult of Skulls is not someone you want to get tied to. This is something that is going to continue to follow us. I don't know how involved you guys are really prepared to be. This may seem like a simple task for all of you, but for me, this is my life.
Well, I feel like we're better off together if they're going to be coming after us.
We'll make sure we protect you.
You're working for Ascended Corp, a company who's taken everything from me, and they'll take everything from you soon enough if you don't listen to me.
You're saying that Ascended Corp turned a blind eye in addition to my people at Ethos Summit, to the lycanthropes killing off turtle people.
Ascended Corp paid your people to turn a blind eye. You notice that the Cult of the Skull, members that you left dead, you see Professor Pistachioke standing over them, casting incantations and spells over them, and they lumber to their feet. You hear Professor Pistachioke echoed through the cave. Well, if we can't beat them with force, then maybe we can just crush their spirits. Order a shutdown of all funding going to the punch bowl immediately.
Whether you're a halfling, a giant, or somewhere in between, round the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around. Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
My name is Cade, and I'm the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the characters to my left.
Alec playing Zag.
Mason playing Grom.
Marissa playing Efimia.
And Brooklyn playing Selene.
Grom, last session you talked a lot about how Ascended Corp was really great to your character growing up. So we're going to go to one of the pivotal moments of Grom's backstory, and we're going to go to a time when you were in the Underdark caves, mining for these rune crystals. As you were mining for these rune crystals, you hear a skittering going across the rocks, and above all of you, you see this group of driders, and these driders start biting all of your coworkers and friends and webbing them up and then dragging them away. You are face to face with a drider. What are you doing?
I'm gonna hit it, or at least try to defend myself in some way, shape, or form.
Roll me an attack roll.
18 to hit?
An 18 to hit definitely hits.
Okay, 10 points of damage to it.
So you use your hammer that you were just mining some mithril with, and you hit it in the head. And as you hit it in the head, you knock it straight in the temple. And this strider, its eyes roll back into its head, and it falls from the ceiling, prone onto the ground, dead. And it lays in front of you for a long moment.
I'll kind of like go looking about after like making sure it's okay. I'll look back at the rest of the tunnel basically and call out, Tyron! Drax! Are you all okay? Hello? Oh no.
As you are contemplating what to do, your shift lead at this mine, Trobjorn, is going to come marching down the Mithril Mine way, and he notices this Drider standing in front of you.
Trobjorn! Drider attacked! Two of our men are gone!
Great job with what you're doing. Ascended Corp appreciates you. You are a very diverse part of our corporation, and because of such a great job that you've done here, we want to promote you.
All right. I love that. You'll send people after those that are missing.
Oh,
right?
Of course, but we're gonna take care of it. I never want you to think about this moment ever again. As you're looking at him, you notice that his pockets are stuffed full of these Badland credits. I never want you to think about this experience again. Everything's okay. Ascended Corp will take care of you. I've heard whispers through your comrades that you want to go to the Punch Bowl, and well, Ascended Corp has just messaged me on my Rune Crystal and said that they want to sponsor you to go to the Punch Bowl to participate.
And a wide grin will like cross Grom's face to the point where he's kind of already forgotten the situation he's in.
That's great. That's wonderful. That's all I've ever dreamed of. Thank you, Trobjorn. I appreciate everything. When do I leave?
Right away. Let's get you out of here. And he quickly shoos you out of the Mithril Mine, and as you are leaving, you see multiple people with Ascended Corp gear on and hazmat suits that are walking down into the Mithril Mine to clean up the mess that these Driders have just made in the mines for your company.
Thank you for making sure my friends are okay. It means a lot. I appreciate the care you take for your employees.
One of them stares at you and puts his hand sympathetically on your forearm and nods, and then continues walking almost somberly towards the accident site. And with that, we're going to join back with the group. Flash forward in time. All four of you have just exited this elevator. Avani Mech has given the eyes to Zag as Zag is pulling the moves on Avani Mech.
Zag's going ahead and he's going to keep going on, trying to charm old Avani. Hey, baby, Avani. Found some strange things down there in those tunnels, but it was no problem for us.
I knew it wouldn't be a problem for any of you. You're very capable, especially you, Zag.
Ha! Zag's gonna quickly look back behind at the party and be like, I told you. Girl, we were sensing some strange vibes down there.
Ascended Corp always takes care of its employees. Whatever vibe you're getting, I'm sure you're just misled. Here, 1,000 Badland credits for each of you. And she hands you a stack of 1,000 Badland credits each.
I will say that Selene's feeling a little bit of relief just in the fact that you did give us some money that we promised. That was check number 1 in her brain for things that she was expecting if they were, a legitimate organization that was fair and just.
See, I told you all. That got on their word. They didn't think that Ascended Corp would pay out.
It's very hard to understand that Ascended Corp loves its employees. Most companies will treat you very, very poorly, and so stick with Ascended Corp and you will be appreciated until the day you retire.
It's true.
I just wanted to add that it's not that we didn't think you'd pay us. We just were very shocked at your generous offer for us to complete that task for you. And I'm gonna shoot a glance over at Grom.
Yeah, and Efimia is just nodding next to Selene, with a little smile on her face,
Zag is not going to be picking up on any of this.
Yeah.
He's going to think he's doing an incredible job.
Wonderful.
Smooth talking. He's paying us up. He's going to walk up, put both hands on her desk and kind of flex a little bit. His 20-inch arms.
Wonderful.
Bam, bam. You promised us more than just credits, Avani. You know I have no need for money.
Oh, and what did I promise you, Zag?
You promised all of us, or at least some of us, some information.
Of course. What would you like to know, Zag?
Well, for starters, where is my brother Thorn?
Your brother Thorn can be found in the sewers that you were just in.
In the sewers?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well, he is being hidden in the sewers. You might have noticed that there was a fork in the sewers, one leading to the right where I instructed you to go. Well, your brother's down the left.
Thanks, girl.
Anytime. And she gives you a wink. Also, Avani Mech is much older than you are. Like hundreds and hundreds of years older than you are. Okay.
Well, some of my friends asked you some questions as well. If you don't mind answering them, for me, of course.
On that note, I feel like you probably know by now that I have at least proven myself to be able to know where my mother is. I feel like I am worthy of that answer at least.
And if it were up to me, I would provide you with that information today.
Then who is it up to?
You must understand that though I am the head of this company, this corporation, we have shareholders over our information that keep a very tight hand with what I am able to say and make sure that I am tight-lipped about certain things. Of course, I wouldn't want to give you all the information and lose you as an employee so soon.
Oh, you wouldn't lose me at all. Efimia's obviously putting on face a little bit. Avani, I could never imagine that. I mean, as far as I know, you are the closest thing I've ever had to an aunt. Aren't you similar to family, I suppose? I haven't had that for a very long time.
We at Ascended Corp are always family. They take care of you, you sacrifice for them, they sacrifice for you.
Yeah,
how it's always been.
Yes, you are the closest to family that I have as well, Efimia. However, there is such a thing as nepotism in the workplace. Next time I'm at a shareholder meeting, of course I will put my best word in, but I cannot promise you anything yet.
So Efimia's going to just put a hand on Avani's forearm. I completely understand. I know there's going to be a lot of mixing, but I hope you at least appreciate what I am trying to do here and that you really are, I guess, the only family I know. And I would love to hear more about, any information you have. Otherwise, it doesn't even have to do with my mother. Just at least right now, anything that you can give me, I would be happy to take.
Roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Zag is going to notice that Efimia is trying to get some additional information. He's starting to lose trust that he is in good acquaintance with Avani. So he's going to put a hand on Efimia's shoulder as she's talking with Avani and give her a guidance spell. A black aura is going to sink out of his hands into her shoulder and give her an additional D4 on whatever future rolls she rolls with a guidance cantrip.
With my disadvantage, I technically got a nat 1, but I also have... But wait, on persuasion, I have a +5.
With a nat 1, you ain't gonna get anywhere.
I am going to use an inspiration because that is the saddest roll I could have gotten.
Oh, what'd you get?
A 1.
Oh no. So unfortunately, Avani looks at you and her heart goes out to you. You could tell that her eyes soften a lot as she's looking at you because you are legitimately the closest person she has to family in her life. And she says, Efimia, if I could do this thing, I would. But if I start giving favors to people, when does it end? Ascended Corp is a large company. And if word got out, I helped you out, and not that I would share, but, and she points up and you see a rune crystal zoom in towards your location.
I definitely would.
Exactly, Grom. And because of which, I think it's only fair that I treat you as any other Ascended Corp employee. And so, unfortunately, I will have to bring it up at our next shareholders meeting to talk about whether I can bring this information up to you.
Efimia's feeling a little defeated right now. I would really appreciate that. If you can, I understand that this is going to be a different situation for the both of us, but I hope you at least keep in mind that the most important thing to me right now is finding my mother.
Of course, naturally. And while you're waiting, Ascended Corp has offered me an amazing new task for each of you. Ascended Corp has assigned your team to go to Brigaroon City, which I know is very exciting for you, Grom. Very, very exciting. You grew up there, correct?
That's where I live.
Oh, wonderful. And you haven't been for a little bit, right?
A week or two at least, yes.
Wonderful. We're going to send you back to Brigaroon City. We're going to send you to the Mithril Mines, which you're very familiar with. I understand that completely. There are 3 people who work in these Mithril Mines that are spies working with the cult of the Skull, the very same cult that you busted down in the sewers, and we don't want any business with them. And so we just want to send you down to Brigaroon City, go down to the Mithril Mines, capture these mine workers, and bring them back to us. We will take care of the rest.
Sounds good to me.
Of course, 1,000 Badland credits. Heck, 1,500 Badland credits for your trouble.
And on that note, how exactly do you expect us to bring them back?
Well, we have the train system that is very, very handy. We will assign each of you with a specialty monogrammed pair of handcuffs, each provided by Ascended Corp. They say AC on every single handcuff. It's very, very fun.
Usually you have to pay for the label.
Yes, but we're providing the label for free. And it's turned out, in case commercials come and talk to you guys, because you might be stopped by the press in the streets. Trust me, this is a big project. People are talking.
Oh my goodness.
I'm ready.
I do have one quick question, Avani.
Okay.
Do you mind if we spend a little time in the city kind of recuperating and trying to get back on our feet before our next task?
Wonderful. But just keep in mind, as Ascended Corp's logo is the symbol of the eye, we are always watching.
Yeah, that's so great to know.
It's reassuring. Really.
Wonderful, really. Wonderful.
Yes, I
We're
love
keeping you out of
being
trouble.
watched.
Keeping us out of trouble. Do you mind telling us what you could possibly protect us from?
Muggers, street thieves, bandits.
Oh, good to know.
An orc mercenary who's wrongfully trying to kidnap Zag. We've already protected you.
You've been watching us for a while.
How did you assist with the orc mercenary?
Yeah, how did you help?
I thought that was us.
The city guard. They took care of it, correct?
Technically, I work for Ascended Corp, and I was there too.
Oh. Do we need any further direction?
If you desire, you can spend the night here. I'm sure that those Cult of the Skull spies aren't going to go anywhere. Of course, we'll pay for your room at Inferior once again, any lodgings or food that you require.
So generous.
So generous, I know. Ascended Corp is the best company in the world. After a long night's rest, you can take the train free of charge. You can use the Rune Rail system that will go straight to Brigaroon and the Mithril Mines.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity.
Of course.
As everyone is entering the lift, I kind of want to turn back and just specifically to Avani and say,
Oh, by the way, while we were down in the sewers, I heard something about funding being pulled from the punch bowl. I just wanted to clarify that with you and make sure you were understood about my agreement.
and I want to roll just an intimidation check, implying you bought my silence for the punch bowl.
Ooh.
You better deliver type thing.
Right, roll me intimidation.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Natural one. But inspiration. A 19.
Oh.
Plus 3, 22.
22. Avani looks you over and says, I simply don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure that whatever happens, Ascended Corp has its eye on it and will take care of it for you specifically.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Of course.
I look forward to our partnership.
I hope you have a wonderful train ride. Here, take a free coupon for a goodie bag.
So generous.
I think Zag, probably as soon as we get a little bit away from Ascended Corp, even though we know we're probably being watched either way, should we go back to Inferior to talk? What do you guys think?
I think that's a good idea. I'm hoping we'll feel a little more at peace there.
If there's bacon, I am in.
Do we see any street vendors on the way back to Inferior, if that's where we're all going? I think we should go back to Inferior, if anything, just to maybe discuss
A drink would
our
be a great
next
idea,
move.
Zach.
I think I had enough drinking already today.
Speak for yourself.
All right.
What?
On the way there, Zach is going to look. Is there any local shops, tents, street side shops that he could kind of browse at quickly?
Definitely.
He's
What
looking
shop
for
are
two
you looking
things.
for?
Looking for some heel root, which is something he's very familiar with from his upbringing, and also looking for some bird seed.
Okay. Interestingly enough, you hear, roll me a perception check.
21.
With a 21, you hear a and you see a rune crystal zoom in on your location, and right down the block you hear construction noises quickly going up, and as you reach the end of the block you notice a tent that says birdseed and heel root
Okay, he's gonna
quickly
go approach.
painted on this wooden sign.
He's gonna approach. Hello, sir. I'm looking for 1 heal root and a bag of birdseed, please.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are you Zag?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Who are you?
You're the guy who helped with the punch bowl fight, right?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, here are all my wares. Thank you for your service. And he hands you 2 heal root and 3 bags of birdseed.
Wow, thank you. How much do I owe you?
No, free of charge, of course. An autograph would be wonderful.
Autograph?
Here, a pen and just sign your name. And he's like visibly shaking as he hands you this pen.
Can I assist the NPC?
Yeah.
By just saying to Zag, just being like, see, Ascended Corp's got your back, and I'll kind of wink at him.
Zag knows how to read, but not like 1000% sure if he knows how to write that well, because he's never really had to. So he's gonna give it a shot.
Okay.
It's not gonna be legible.
Roll me performance.
We're going for a straight up doctor's signature right now.
Wonderful.
15.
It's almost legible. You got the Z in there.
You got the Z in there.
The shop owner faints immediately, and then as you exit, the tent starts to get taken down, and a closed sign goes over the open sign.
Zag is not going to be aware of how strange that encounter was at all, because he's still learning like how the city operates and works and social cues and all that. But first thing he's going to do is going to pocket that 2 heal root, and he's going to walk up to Selene and say, Selene,
yes,
we haven't had a lot of time to get to know each other. And he's going to hand her the 2 bags of birdseed. I understand that you're a bird person. Take this as a token of my gratitude for all that you've done, and I appreciate you, and I can't wait to get to know you better.
Zag, I don't have a bird.
Right, you're a bird person.
Aren't you the bird? Are you? Hold on.
Zag, you don't really think I am a bird person, do you?
Zag's gonna be so confused by this whole conversation. Of course not. Let's go back to the bar.
I'm gonna see his embarrassment, and then I'm gonna like totally relax, get the confused look off my face, and just take the birdseed from him and say, "Thank you, Zag. Thank you."
You're so welcome, Selene.
I'm just gonna like shove it into my belt and just hold it. I look over at Efimia, like, what the heck am I gonna do with all this birdseed? And I'm gonna do my best to like play it cool.
I'll say it this time too. Grom is over talking to Efimia.
You know, I never really knew my mother either. maybe we could talk about what you remember. Give me an idea of what a mothership is like.
You want me to tell you what having a mom is like?
Yes, please.
You don't know at all.
She died when I was very young. I don't remember her very much. My dad tells me that she's an amazing person, valiant, honorable, and strong.
Efimia is very confused about like how to proceed, seeing like Zag with his bird seed and what is going on, and surprised also that Grom can have a meaningful conversation. So she just looks over at him and goes, well, to be honest, it's been a very long time since I have seen her. It sounds like from Avani that she might be still alive, but at least what I remember, my mother was a very good person. You know, she taught me a lot. Botany and arithmetic and how to read and different poets and things like that. She was raised, you know, a little bit more of a higher regard than I was, but she tried to at least pass down the knowledge that she learned to me, and I don't have much left to go off of her. She disappeared when I was but a child. I was mainly raised by my father.
I was the same. Well, perhaps I have more in common than we thought, Efimia.
I'm not going to lie, that is something I would never expect, but I appreciate.
Yes, we can talk about this more over a drink. I see that Selene is maybe, I don't know, I think she's eyeing you. I don't know what you did, though. You should be careful.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I think that's just how she gets when she's hungry, but it looks like she has a snack on the back of her bag.
Hearing you say that, I'm gonna look so offended and like smack you as hard and as subtly as I can on your thigh. Like, are you kidding me?
Selene, you have a snack in your back pocket.
Efimia flinches and is just like kind of giggling to herself.
We did it. I still can't believe we got this project done so fast and so well.
When I'm in New York.
I'm in Chicago.
And I'm in LA.
But
we're making it happen in Miro.
Together.
Our best work just happens faster on Miro's collaborative online whiteboard. No more scheduling meeting after meeting for work that could happen
From anywhere, whether it's getting design feedback here,
mapping timelines here,
or brainstorming next steps here. It all just happens on the Miro board.
Exactly. And it's nice not having to wait an entire day to get sign off from this guy.
Hey! Well, it is true.
See how Miro users save up to 80 hours every year by meeting less and doing more. Get on board at Miro.com. The first 3 boards are free forever. That's MIRO.com.
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day, the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network. With gig speeds everywhere. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. In Cox serviceable areas, speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
Selene, go ahead and roll me a perception check. A hooded figure, as you're putting this birdseed into your back pocket, bumps into you.
11.
With an 11, Selene, you notice this hooded figure reached into your pocket and placed a note under the birdseed as you were pocketing the birdseed.
We're close to inferior, right?
Yep, you are about a block away.
Okay, I'm going to just leave it in my pocket and wait until we get to inferior, and I'll open it up as soon as we get inside.
So you guys arrive at inferior. Spark-elle says,
Zag, Grom, Princess, Butcher, it's so wonderful to see you. Please, take a seat at the bar.
You know, Spark-elle, we're so tired. We need to head straight up to our rooms.
I'll take a round.
You'll take a round?
Yes.
Right away.
And so she will pour you your drink. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
18.
18? You're not even buzzed. You feel great after that drink.
Before we head up, do I notice any crystal runes in the bar area?
All over.
Okay. When we head up to our room, like in the hallways and stuff, are there any crystal runes?
Yes.
Okay, how about when we get in our room?
Yes.
Are they like attached? Like, where are they? Like, describe what they look like.
These crystal runes look like stalactites. They're hanging from every single corner that you can see. It seems like there is a plethora of these runes around the city, and like Ascended Corp's logo suggests, they are always watching.
Is there more than one in the room?
A single crystal rune in the corner of each of the rooms.
Okay, this is a stretch, but is there any way I can perceive or just have any kind of a guess? And it's okay if I can't, whether or not they can hear you or just see you.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Do I know of any ways to skirt around the crystals, being slightly familiar with them, or like disable them temporarily?
Roll me an Intelligence check.
I have an idea if none of these work out.
I got a 4, and then I have a -1 to Arcana, so 3.
Natural 20 for 19, though.
With a natural 20, Grom, you would know if a spell is cast at one of these crystals, it will be momentarily discombobulated.
Overloaded with arcane.
Overloaded. However, when this happens, a member of Ascended Corp is dispatched almost immediately to the location. So you will have time with the rune crystal not working. However, you will have a clock as to when
pay
somebody...
for the time later.
Exactly. And you will be questioned by the person who's coming to fix the rune crystal as to why you would do something so nefarious.
Okay. That'll just be information I have in my head.
Are you going to relay that information?
I have no idea.
Question. We're also carrying on our own rune-crusted phones. Like I have that in my bag. Is that also listening to me?
Yes. So these rune crystal phones, you can assume would potentially be bugged.
Zag is going to realize, right? So I rolled a really good perception check earlier that I noticed we were being watched. I noticed these rune crystals. Zag is aware of them. Is he going to notice? So we're in our rooms. Is he going to notice all of those rune crystals around?
Yes,
How
absolutely.
many? Is there just one in the room?
There's
did you say?
one in each room.
Are we all in one room right now?
Yes, I assumed we were hanging out. That was my thought, is that we were together.
We're all in there hanging out. Zag is going to realize that there is a rune crystal in there, and he is going to pull out his crossbow, something he hasn't used very much, and he's going to say, guys, did you know that I have a crossbow? And I am so dang good with it. And he's going to load up a bolt, and he's going to start waving it around, and he's going to, quote unquote, accidentally shoot it at said Rune Crystal.
Roll an attack.
18.
18? So you hit this crystal. Roll me your damage.
3 damage.
All right, so you hit this rune crystal, and your crossbow bolt goes straight through the rune crystal, and you hear Spark-elle's voice go over an intercom, like a magic mouth almost thing that says,
Warning! Warning! Warning!
Okay, guys, I think I've got it disabled. Something is going on here.
Do I know for sure if he has disabled it or not?
You can assume that it seems disabled for now. It seems, though, that with an arrow instead of magic, that the sight component is probably taken care of. However, the sound component is still around.
Is there a way to potentially almost remove the rune crystal from the network, like a way to permanently disable their access to it? Or is that more, is just a temporarily overload type thing?
Unfortunately, you are unaware.
We're good.
We're good? We're good to go? Okay.
There's no sound?
The sight component is gone, but the hearing component is still going.
We don't know that.
We don't know.
But we don't know that.
Technically, no.
Here's what I do know. We're going to have to do our very best to be able to communicate with each other without speaking, without showing it too much through our body language. We're going to have to be able to communicate using our facial expressions and our intuition, okay? We're clearly being watched everywhere we go. We have to be careful no matter what we're doing.
So guys, I have an ability to originate and to create sound on points of my choice. I don't know how it works, but if we need to communicate silently, I can possibly communicate those messages within each other. If you tell me what you need me to pass on to another, I can make that sound occur and I can pass on that message quietly within another person's ear.
Instantly whisper to Zag,
Tell the butcher, hi.
And just to test that out, I will use thaumaturgy and I will create a whisper within Selene's ear, the butcher's ear.
Grom says hi.
I'll be like looking back and forth between Zag and Selene, like waiting for any reaction.
Can you hear me?
There's a teeny bit of delay, but Zag whispers this message to you, and then you immediately hear it afterwards.
Grom says hi.
I'm going to raise my eyebrows, appearing impressed, but then like deflate.
Upon seeing my doofy smile that's like looking expectantly.
Yeah. I think that will be very, very helpful. Zag, thank you. You know, the other tool I think we should be using is any kind of written message, okay? If we ever need to communicate something more complicated, writing things to each other as subtly as possible is going to be vital.
But wouldn't that leave the trail of sorts? I worry about that.
Every night, we will have a fire.
I
We'll make
learned
sure
how to
burn them all.
read,
Everyone?
but I'm not too good at writing.
Oh.
Where are your phones?
My crystal's right here.
We heard Spark-elle yell warning, correct? Right? We heard Spark-elle yelling warning. We don't have a lot of time. What is our next move? We need to decide right now.
You hear on the door,
We need to go talk to War.
We need to go. I agree. My brother might be down there. I don't know if she's true. I don't know if Avani was truthful, but I think we should go back to the sewers.
I'll be preparing to open the door to attempt to get Spark-elle to leave us alone. Like, my intention is more of just like to cover for everything.
What do you guys think? Should we go down to the sewer? I think we should go down to the sewer.
I think we need to head that way.
I think that's a great idea. A drink for everyone.
And I'll open the door and say,
Spark-elle, did our way of notifying you work then?
Precisely. This is a strange way to ask for drinks.
We just figured it was more efficient than walking magic and all, you know.
I'll add it to your tab. Ha 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 ha.
Thank you very much.
Spark-elle, while you are at it, could you also bring bacon? Thank you.
Of course, all the bacon in the area.
Our
That's
usual.
Another round for us all.
Wonderful. Coming right up.
Thank you, Spark-elle.
and
Stay in inferior as long as you'd like. How about we do 3 rounds each? Maybe something lighter.
Zag lays down on the floor and goes to sleep.
I'll take it, don't you worry.
Okay, let's do as many drinks as you're willing to take. It's covered, isn't it?
Yes?
Precisely. You know, Spark-elle makes a great point.
I suppose so. Definitely something lighter, like maybe an ale of sorts, water perhaps, flavored tea maybe that has no alcohol.
Coming.
Right.
Zag is going to stand right back up after his pretend fall asleep, and he's going to talk to Spark-elle.
Spark-elle, we've been through a lot. I need your help.
Wonderful. Anything for a patron of inferior.
Do you work for Ascended Corp?
I work for inferior.
Just Inferior?
I work for the company Inferior.
Does Zag believe her?
I am programmed by other people other than Inferior.
Who are they?
The people who make the rune crystals around the city program all of the Warforged for their assignment.
Okay, I think I understand. Never mind. Let's do whatever you want to do, Spark-elle.
Wonderful.
And remember,
when you have your
Spark-elle nano on you, I'm always with you.
Which I was going to say, as like, I want to shove it underneath the pillow, basically, after she leaves. And then whisper to Zag and say,
if you want to say anything sensitive, you're going to need to make sure we overload the crystal.
Okay.
And we have a good reason of doing so.
Okay.
Tell the others.
I understand. And I'm going to use my thaumaturgy. I'm going to kind of quickly try and put my hand up at both Efimia and Selene. They're both going to hear in their ear, if we need to talk, we need to disable any crystal beforehand. Otherwise, keep it cool.
Wait, question. Is thaumaturgy a cantrip?
Yeah.
It is a cantrip.
Oh, that's so cool.
We're heading downstairs.
As you approach the tavern floor, you notice the pub is empty, except for Spark-elle, who's standing in the center of the room. And as you look over towards the Brawling Pub's doors, you notice that they have been very haphazardly closed and sealed by Spark-elle. And you hear these loud thudding from the outside, and somebody's yelling, "These Warforged must have malfunctioned! Get this door open immediately!" And Spark-elle looks at the four of you and says,
Now, we don't have a lot of time.
I knew you were good.
I heard everything you said. I disabled the sound for a brief moment. I care about you, and I want to see you succeed. There is a small hatch underneath the bar that I have dug out every day, little by little, in order to secure something like this. Make your way out soon, and please remember me, because I will be
decommissioned because of this.
Spark-elle, no. Come with us.
Mission protocol prohibits. There is no time, Zag. You must go.
You have me in your Spark-elle nano.
Looks like we have to take those things.
Are you sure you can't come with us?
Make me a persuasion check as you are wanting. Yes. Zag, go ahead and make me a persuasion check as you are trying to convince Spark-elle to go with you. And I'm going to need at least an 18 in order for Spark-elle to knowingly disobey a command in her code.
21.
Spark-elle short circuits for a second. Her code is firing a million miles an hour. She's been coded very differently than what she's doing right now. And she says,
You know what? I'll go with you. We can leave that Spark-elle nano behind. I get jealous anyway.
Ha 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 ha.
You're so silly.
I want to swipe like a jug of ale or fine wine or something along the way. Just be
Don't worry, I have you covered.
And she holds out her arm, and you see beer taps all along her arm.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll keep the Spark-elle nano because I think I have that right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll keep it just in case. I'll make sure everyone gets out first before I go.
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network. With gig speeds everywhere, it's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. In Cox serviceable areas, speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
So Efimia's going to reach into her pocket where she has a little bit of just a little bit of fabric, and within her pocket make a hand gesture as we're walking out to make a loud booming sound coming from outside of the bar in the opposite direction of where we're walking. So think kind of almost like a bomb went off in the opposite direction. It doesn't create any, shaking or anything like that. And it's not like you can see shrapnel or anything. It's just sound.
All right, roll me a performance check.
As she's doing that, Zag is going to see what she's doing, hear the explosion, and he's also going to close his eyes, hold his hands over his amulet, think about his ancestral line and the power they create, and try and help her, also using thaumaturgy to create tremors within the ground.
Roll with advantage then.
15.
15? All right, so you hear outside Efimia, as you create this explosion, you notice that this is not even the only explosion that's going on outside. You hear gunfire, you hear other explosions far in the distance. It seems that some sort of uprising or war is happening right outside of Inferior's doors. However, when the guards hear your explosion, they say, "Hey, what was that?" And you hear them trot off into the distance, leaving Inferior.
Can I use the time while they're distracted to take some of the wood from last night's brawl that was broken from the fighting pit that I threw the guy through and put it through the door handle in like an attempt to bar the door even further? Just to delay them a little bit.
Yeah,
and
of
then
course.
Head back with the group.
You delay the guards even further from entering, and you guys exit out of this tunnel, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And you enter this tunnel. You walk for a long, long time underneath the ground. It seems that Spark-elle's been working on this tunnel for years. You emerge at the very north point of the city, in the middle of the Lone Beholder Animal Shelter and Zoo.
The Animal Shelter Zoo, is that anything? That's not anything like where War told us to go meet him,
The
right?
Mystical Animal Shelter is where he asked you to go. The Animal Zoo is in conjunction with the Mystical Animal Shelter. The Animal Shelter are for animals that are ready to be rehabilitated into another home. The zoo is for animals that are injured and need more time to heal.
So as we come out, I guess Zag's gonna first off be just looking around, seeing all the animals, being impressed and like excited to see something like that, you know, like a fun recreational, like look at animals, enjoy them, but also he's going to be on the lookout for crystals and to see if we are being watched.
It seems that this zoo is state funded and is not owned by Ascended Corp, and you do not see any crystals around.
Guys, I think this is a safe place for us to talk.
How can we be sure?
I don't see any crystals around. We're slightly, you know, kind of out of the main part of the city. I think we're okay.
Spark-elle, they can't hear us through you, can they?
Of course not. I have
jammed my circuits.
Thank you.
It hurts. Ha ha.
Maybe we'll be able to help you with that if we can find out how.
Shall we head inside the animal shelter? That is where War told you to meet, correct?
Oh.
Is there a way I could double check that she's like actually saying this on her own accord?
Yeah, so roll me an insight check.
Okay.
I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder and again cast a guidance. You're going to see all the veins off of her shoulder almost like darken and black as I put my hand on her and I say, "You've got this."
Thanks, buddy. 13 total.
13? You look over Spark-elle, and you're not quite familiar with lots of Warforged. However, she seems very genuine in what she's trying to say. Like, she at least believes that she is not being listened to.
Okay, kind of perceiving this, I was kind of eyeing Spark-elle down a little bit, but at least with my light knowledge of what she is, I'm still a little suspicious, but I at least take it in the sense of like, okay, this at least seems like my best shot.
Guys, I say we follow her. Spark-elle has given me no reason to doubt her yet.
I just have one question. How did she know about War?
Oh, no.
Well, she's connected to Ascended Corp, so she probably would have been informed before she decided to break away or whatever she did.
Okay, but if she's been digging that hole for so long...
I have been
corrupted by the Veiled
Grin.
The Veiled Grin has been working on my circuitry to make sure that this moment was planned.
I'm less comfortable now, but it's still better than originally. I'm not sure.
Is the Veiled Grin what War said he was a part of?
Yes, the very same.
I say we seek this out, guys. I say we see this through. What do you think?
I think we need to find out more for sure.
I have too many questions.
I think this might be our only chance, so I suppose we have to take it.
I think the only path is forward.
Well, as you guys are walking towards this animal shelter, the odor of this neglected shelter hits your nose long before you can even be seen from the zoo. And mind you, the zoo is not very great smelling either, like animal smells, but the shelter smells like it hasn't been taken care of in years. And you can see from the outside of it, it has been expanded multiple times by blocks of wood and chicken wire that has been like haphazardly stapled together to make more and more room for animal shelter and animal stalls. And the sounds within, you can hear that there's this fluctuation between this low grumble of monstrosities and the occasional warble of aberrations, chaotic and impossible to control. Behind the shelter, there are piles of meat stripped down to the bones with these week-old meats that have been delivered in the early morning by a local butcher.
It's a shame the conditions they keep these things in.
Man, these poor animals. They'd be so much better off in the wild.
So you guys enter and you see that War is sitting in the center of the room on a three-legged stool and says,
"Oh, good. Came to your senses then, didn't you?"
How large is this room?
20 by 20.
Is there anyone else in the room?
The only person you can see in the room is War. However, you get an eerie feeling that there might be someone else.
I think we'd all be lying if we said you didn't intrigue us.
We're only here for information.
As am I.
And what are you seeking?
The truth about Ascended Corp and why they wanted to kill you over seemingly minimal squabbles. Efimia and Selene, you killed members of the Cult of the Skull, and Grom and Zag, you're just stealing press from Rust, who's obviously sponsored by Ascended Corp, if you haven't come to realize at this point.
But I am as well. It's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I didn't.
Understandably so, but they've put more money into Rust than they have put into you. It's a return on investment.
He wasn't really that bad of a guy, really, in the end.
No, he was a little rude at the end of the fight, but I think he was doing it for the crowd more than anything else.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why it was enough to try and have you killed. That 1,000 Badland credits was not supposed to make it into your pocket. They were expecting you to die.
Why would they want us dead?
How do you know all this?
We were able to break into Spark-elle here's main database and utilize her surveillance capabilities for the benefit of the Veiled Grin.
Are you a part of the Veiled Grin?
I am part of the Veiled Grin.
I've been helping the Veiled Grin for a few years now. They've tapped into
my mainframe.
And then you see her like spark again, like just
interesting.
Well, before we give you any information that might be useful, I think you need to answer our questions first.
I agree.
Obviously. Ask away.
And Efimia's just gonna kind of look at Selene, because obviously, like, she knows a little bit more about the turtle people and her being an ASMR, So
he beckons forward for you to ask any question that you will, gestures to the shadows in the corner, and you see a few members in these veiled, masked faces come forward out of the shadows and bring you a few stools to also sit on, and then slink back into the shadows, seemingly gone again. And I believe that's where we're going to end our session for the night. My name is Cade, the host and turtle tamer of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the characters
Alec playing Zag,
Mason playing Grom,
Marissa playing Efimia,
and Brooklyn playing Selene.
Thank you so much for listening today. We're so excited to continue to produce content for you. If you love our content, go on over to patreon.com/knocked, where we are going to have an after show of the past 2 episodes where we talk about everything that went right, everything that went wrong. Talked Prone is well worth it. Starting at $2 a month, you can support this Patreon and become one of our amazing patrons, because regular people who listen to Knocked Prone are amazing, but patrons who listen to Knocked Prone are our favorites. To name a few of our favorites, we have Janlan. Janlan grew up in the Forgotten Tribe, traveling the Badlands with Zag and the other outcast children. Her beauty is unmatched, and her skill with a bow is unparalleled. She's a half-elf who still kind of has a thing for Zag, even though he's far away. Dean the Destroyer. Dean has traveled the world, vanquishing evil wherever it can be found. A champion to the people. The ladies love him. The men want to be him. Zach Bennett, Tiefling Swords Bard. Jace Face the Destroyer. Riss, just Riss. And my great friend Lester. All NPCs of the Badlands just waiting to make their mark on this world. Last but not least, we have Kelric Bigfur, a satyr who's just looking to make his way in the world by hosting the Talked Prone podcast. And he wants to remind you to listen to Talked Prone, now available on Patreon. See you over there at patreon.com/knocked. And we hope that you remember, when life knocks you flat on your back, all you got to do is keep rolling. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And before we end our session for the night, you guys all level up to level 4. So by the beginning of episode 6, everyone should have chosen a feat or ASI for their character, and we'll go over that next time.
For the 4th year in a row, Dawn is partnering with iHeartRadio for Can't Cancel Pride, a campaign that has raised over $11 million for the LGBTQ+ community. Dawn continuously strives to celebrate visibility and inclusivity for all, and that means supporting amazing organizations like Centerlink, providing safe spaces where over 52,000 community members go each week to receive critical and life-saving services. Dawn is there for your home, or your home away from home. So visit can'tcancelpride.com to learn more.